So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the fourth grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's going to become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the fourth grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's going to become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the fourth grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. We're older than most people in this space, but we found NFTs about a year ago, and then we said, you know what, we're really gonna create a company. As we get more connected, as we go into the metaverse, what we're about to do is meeting new people, having real raw conversations. We think it's going to become a lost art. So we're here to make that happen, to bring it all to you, and to help you expand, learn, and grow. And we came up with a very simple mission statement. That mission statement is to bring back the lost art of genuine human connection. And I got one last thing to say, and I'm dead serious when I say this. I genuinely, and Maddie genuinely believes we were put on earth to do exactly what we're doing now. We love doing this. We love meeting new people, and it just gets us so freaking excited. We think you as family, and we love you all. So, at the base and the heart of midlife crisis, not gonna lie, it's Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. And why it is because over 30 years ago, I met this crazy SOB at the 4th grade bus stop. I swear to you, when I first laid eyes on this dude, he was perpendicular to the ground, or not perpendicular, like horizontal to the ground, hanging at a 90-degree off a stop sign. And I was like, what the hell did I just get myself into? And since that, we had a budding, flourishing relationship, been best friends our whole lives. Obviously, life got in the way. You go to college, you get married, you start businesses, things happen. Fittingly enough, our midlife crisis brought us back together, hence the name. What up, folks? Heck yeah, man. We got our first, oh, dude. I had to reconnect to the space. Got our first ever Twitter space dual stream going on. I hope this works. Let me know in chat if your audio is all screwed up. If it is, I don't think I'm able to do much about it tonight. So just leave the space if it doesn't work. How does this sound, Maddie?
All right, Mikey, let me do this. I'm hopping over to the space now. I had to mute everything, so I'm gonna mute everything real quick just to test it. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna invite our boy as a speaker. There you go, Andrew. I sent you an invitation. There we go. What up, Cyclops? Nice to see ya. How does it sound, Andrew? Well, I can't hear you.
I was on mute. My bad. I have my phone muted too, so I can't hear how it sounds in the space.
Nah, that's
You're actually showing as muted on the space on my phone here.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. So if
Okay,
you're gonna get some funky feedback if your mic is on your computer and your phone. So you got to have one or the other off. But yeah, we're good. We're money. It's working. So how you all doing here, folks? Maddie, this is it. This is phenomenal. This is the first real kind of test that we're doing here. Meta Sculptor, how are you doing? I know God was doing the announcement. Maddie, Boom Batty, how was your day, man? I'll tell you this right now. It was a little cloudy. Weather's starting to change here in San Diego.
We are gold, dude.
We're always gold. This is not many people are live and stream on YouTube and pipe into Twitter Spaces. This is the first. And dude, Andrew, you're part of the first ever live Twitter space.
Andrew just got rugged.
Oh, Andrew just got rugged. Well, while Andrew's trying to figure out how to get there, he's back. Maddie, how was your week? I heard you had some friends in town and we're rocking and rolling.
Give me one quick second. Everything's up. Okay, perfect. Yeah, dude. So I had some friends in town because they were fleeing the hurricane. They're down in Florida, so they came up, and so it was a surprise visit, man. You know, it's always good to have friends in town, and so that was cool. Got to spend some good time. What we actually did, because I don't know if you know, Mike, but it was rainy here for like the last 5 days. It was just nasty, and and so we ended up watching a lot of movies, and well, not a lot of movies, but we had to get some critical ones out of the way, right? Because when somebody says to me, you know, I think I've seen Braveheart, but I don't remember it.
Yep.
things need to happen, right? And so that had to happen. Same thing happened. They said the same thing about the Matrix, and I was like, all right, well, it's just really simple. You're not allowed to go back to Florida until we've remedied this. And so we remedied it, and it was good. It was fantastic. So
That's-
good time.
Dude, that sounds like that is such a Matt story. Ollie,
Yeah.
I will take you down
So,
if you start barking. Get
Mike,
over here.
I will say I'm listening on YouTube, and we do have a kind of a robotic thing going on YouTube. It sounds like a feedback loop there.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. Maybe it's just me. Kind of a robotic thing going on. I don't know. What's Stargirl? How's it sound on YouTube?
Oh, it does.
Do I sound like a robot or not?
You do. You do.
Is it just me, Mike, or is it just me?
It's just you. Do you have your phone? Are you in the Twitter space?
I am.
Leave the Twitter
Kind of a
space.
robotic thing going on. I don't know. What's Stargirl? Okay, I'm out.
How's it sound
What about
on
now?
YouTube? Oh, it does.
Do I sound like a robot or not? What do we got now? How we sounded? We sounded crispy. Is it just me, Mike, or is it you?
It's just you. Do you have your phone on? Are you in the Twitter space?
I am.
I'm just waiting to hear at this point.
Oh, got it.
Stargirl.
Okay, I'm out.
How's it sound
What about
on
now?
YouTube? Oh, it does.
Do I sound like a robot or not? What do we got now? How we
I still sound like a robot.
sounded
Okay.
crispy. Yeah, I don't know, man.
So wait.
I got nothing at this
Wait,
point. I only have one
stop
microphone on.
talking. Stop talking. It's just you. Do you have your phone on? Are you in the Twitter space?
I am.
I'm just waiting to hear at this point.
Oh, got it.
Stargirl.
Okay, I'm out.
How's it sound
What about
on
now?
YouTube? Oh, it does.
Do I sound like a robot or not?
Yeah.
What do we got now? How we
I still sound like a robot.
Sounded
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Wait.
I got nothing at this point. I only have one microphone on.
Stop talking. It's just you. Do you have your phone on? Are you in
Yeah, it's your voice too, Mikey, which means it's something on your end.
Oh, got it.
It's a mess.
Okay.
Hey, listen,
Folks, it's getting a little crazy. Get a little crazy. Bear with us.
Hold on, we're trying.
I still sound like a robot. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I got nothing at this point. I only have one microphone on.
Stop talking. It's just you. Do you have your phone on? Are you in
Yeah, it's your voice too, Mikey, which means it's something on your end.
Oh, got it.
It's a mess. Hey, listen,
Folks, it's getting a little crazy. Get a little crazy. Bear with us.
Hold on, we're trying.
I still sound like a robot. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I got nothing at this point. I only have one microphone.
Alright. Yeah, it's your voice too, Mikey, which means it's something on your end.
Oh, got it.
Hey, listen,
Folks, it's getting a little crazy. Get a little crazy. Bear with us.
Hold on, we're trying.
I still sound like a robot. Yeah, we are a guest down. Where is he at? Hold on here. He's.
Yeah, it's your voice too.
All right, I'm bringing him back in. All right, Andrew, you there?
Get a little crazy. Bear with us.
Hold on, we're trying.
Yeah, we are a guest down. Where is he at? Hold on here. Oh, the
You
sound
guys hear
got
me now?
fixed. Yeah, we got you.
All
I'm
right.
bringing him back
That was
in.
weird.
Yeah, man. Sorry you got Rug there.
Dude, Rug
We're
is a
still trying to
bullet.
figure out the whole sound
Andrew,
thing.
you
there? Yeah. We are a guest down. Where is he at? Hold
Yeah,
on.
let's.
Dude, BlueStacks is
Oh, the
kind of
sound got
weird.
fixed.
It's
Yeah,
up to
we
you,
got
isn't
you.
it? All
Alright, I'm
right.
bringing him back
That was
in.
weird.
Yeah, man.
It's
Sorry you got Rug
cut
there.
Dude, Rug
We're
is a
still trying to
bullet.
figure out the whole sound
Andrew,
thing.
you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are a guest down.
Yes, it seems right. It was lagging for a second. It seemed
Yeah,
like.
let's.
Dude, BlueStacks is
Oh, the
kind of
sound got
weird.
fixed.
It's
Yeah,
up to
we
you,
got
isn't it?
you.
All
Alright, I'm
right.
bringing him Yeah, man.
it's
Sorry, you got Rug
cut
there.
it.
Dude, Rug
We're
is a
still trying to
bullet.
figure out the whole sound
Okay.
issue there.
Yeah. All right. Well, it should be good. I think we're all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are a guest.
We got.
Yes, it seems right. It
Let's
was
see.
lagging
We
for a
got
second. It
Bonji
seemed
in the
right.
house.
This text is kind of weird.
Meta Sculptor. Of course, God's there.
Yeah, we're good now.
Star.
It was the
Cut it.
Twitter
Space.
It was the Twitter Space. So there's
Yeah.
So I
It's always
figured
Twitter, man.
it's fucking Twitter
Yeah.
Space,
All right.
man.
Well, it should be good. I
Dude,
think
we're
all right.
so close. We're
Okay.
so
We're-
close to getting that working.
So close, man.
I
Let's
want
see.
it
We got
so
Bonji
bad.
in the house.
But everything's good
Meta
now. So
Sculptor.
we're back
Of
on.
course,
So we're just
God's
gonna be
there.
live here on
We're good.
YouTube.
Star.
It was the
Twitter Space.
It was the Twitter Space. So there's
Yeah.
So I
It's always
figured.
Twitter.
Mike, we're hearing it through you again, man. The repeat.
Yeah, no. I have my YouTube on, so we're good to go
Okay.
now. All
All
right,
right.
cool. So, well, that was a hell of an intro. It's usually not that hectic. Did you have internet problems there, Andrew?
I think it was a Discord problem, or maybe it was a Twitter problem, right? I actually clicked to go to Twitter on my computer here, and so I could start retweeting the room a little bit and stuff because I moved my phone,
Gotcha.
and then it glitched out.
Right.
No worries.
Maddie, does everything sound good now? I just want to make sure before we get
Let me
hardcore
check.
into it. I don't want to get like hardcore into it and everyone's like, dude, it's still contrite. Dude, we were so close. I think it's now the YouTube, like when the
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitter are running together, there's dual outputs going, and I got to figure that out.
Yeah, you just got to stop the YouTube loop. You got to stop watching it.
I did.
But I do hear you fine. Andrew has a little reverb. Yeah. I think I do too. So yeah, Andrew and I have it's just like a little bit of feedback. We sound like robots.
Son of a
You
bitch.
need to do a mic check.
You know
I
what
just
I- you
dropped
know
it
what I'm
in
gonna
my
do?
phone.
Oh, okay. No, we're so what happened is Mike's been trying to work this whole dual stream and Twitter space. And I think what's happening is he messed with his audio settings to do that. And now we got to get that corrected again. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
No, we're
I'm
good.
just along for the ride.
ATX dubstep in the house.
I enjoy not being the one have to really run things and worry about it. It's like it's cool, man. I got
Right.
my one hitter here, my blunt there, my tea here, my coffee there. Like I'm here for the night. Like,
You're ready. You're
let's
ready.
just do it whenever. If it was my show, I'd be stressing though.
Dude, this is nothing. We have, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys aren't stressing me. I'm like, oh shit. But now I'm just like, yeah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, we get it. Technical problems. We'll figure it out. All right, everybody's saying it's fixed, man. Everybody's saying it's sounding better. All right, Mikey, did you figure it out? Yeah. Got it. All right, well let's do this.
What? Thank you. It was jail, not prison. Just to clarify.
Yes, yes. There are big differentiators. Here's Mikey. I got you. I got you. Here's all you all need to know about Andrew, folks. Okay, the best success stories are comeback stories. Okay, and here's what we're gonna title today's story: Andrew went from jail to whale.
Jail to whale, baby. Little whale, little whale.
You are welcome. You can trademark that. Jail to whale, folks. This dude has a story to tell, and you're going to hear it first.
Dude,
Jail to
we're
whale.
making money moves already.
Yep. By the way, you don't have any sound, Mike. You don't have any sound. Oh, I love it. Metasculptor making it real clear in chat. He's texting you. He's doing one letter at a time.
All right, we're good now.
All right.
So, with that being said, man, we want to start off with the one and only question. We have one at the end. We won't even tell you what that is until the end. It's very easy, so don't stress out too much. How did you get to that beautiful seat that you're sitting in today? We like to describe that as Star Wars Episode 1, 2, and 3, my man. I would love to hear it. Take as long as you want. Start when you're a baby in a crib, elementary school, high school, wherever you want to go. Let us take that journey together, brother.
Absolutely, man. So yeah, I guess the start of the jail to whale story is I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and I grew up in the hood, the middle of St. Louis. And when you grow up in the hood, the entry level entrepreneurship you come across is selling drugs, right? It's the easiest to get in. It's where you see the fastest profits. So I sold drugs from 15 to 20 and built a successful drug business, if we're being real. And when I turned 20, these cops beat me up, took my drugs, let me go. So I thought I got robbed by some crooked ass cops. And I had been playing poker with my friends, in little house games since we were like 18, and I was always better than everybody else. So I was like, I'm just gonna play poker full time. So I turned 21. I started playing poker full time, and around this time, it was when really any idiot could make money playing poker. So I played poker for a few years, and finally it caught up to my past caught up to me, and I ended up doing some time in jail over selling drugs, and I got off with probation, and my lawyer said he'd get me off. He said he'd get me off with probation if I had a job by the time we went to court. So I actually got into door to door sales, and I was still playing poker and having success in door to door, and poker was actually my first introduction to crypto via Bitcoin, because way back then, even in like 2011 or so, poker players were sending Bitcoin back and forth when they owed each other money, and poker players always owe each other money. So like I knew about Bitcoin, but I was like, man, it'll never be a big thing, right? Who cares about digital currency? It's just some shit poker players use. And so, like, I still play some poker. I had some success in door to door, and I ended up becoming a regional sales manager in door to door, because like anything I do, right, that was like that was like the next entry level entrepreneurship for me. And I worked my way up to regional sales manager. Used a lot of stuff I learned selling drugs to be successful in door to door sales. And at this point in time, I was a cocky sales guy in my early 20s, and I thought I was untouchable. So half the time I wouldn't even show up to my probation appointments, and then the half I did show up, I was testing positive for marijuana, and they yanked my probation randomly one day, and they put me in the county jail for 5 months, and they put me in this rehab program that was in the county jail. And like I'm in there where people are like smoking crack and shooting up heroin, and I'm like, I smoke a little bit of weed, And it was honestly a blessing in disguise, because the entire time all I did is read success books, sales books, and motivational books. And when I got out, I hit the ground running. I really decided to just go all in on door to door and do my best to really build a door to door business. So my friend broke off and started her own company, and
Yep.
within 2 weeks, I was running an office in Columbia, Missouri. 2 weeks fresh out of jail, I was running a sales office, and that's like 2 hours outside of St. Louis. And then within 6 weeks, I was running offices in Columbia, Missouri, and La Crosse, Wisconsin. And our client at that time, a pretty big sized phone company, they recognized my name from before I went to jail, and they offered me a big promotion to go to Florida and run like 5 sales offices. This is my first chance to make 100 G's plus in a year. You know, I was a poor kid from the hood. At that point in time, 100,000 was
Yeah.
all the money in the world to me.
Oh my
Right.
God, yeah.
And so I was on probation, but I took the promotion, and every other week, every other month, I'd fly back and forth from St. Louis and Florida for probation appointments. Um, well, the girl I was dating at the time, she told me to pick between her and the job, and she grew up pretty well off, you know, on a golf course outside of St. Louis. Her dad drives a Porsche, her and her mom drive Benzes, but you know, different upbringing than me, and I picked the job. She got a little upset. I met another girl in Florida. We had a baby. My ex saw on Facebook that I had a baby with my current girlfriend, and she called my PO and told her I was working out of state. So I actually got extradited from Florida and had to do 6 months in jail again.
Jeez
And
almighty, dude. You want to talk about a whirlwind. Woo.
So that was the
And-
girl. Hold on, just to be quick. That was the girl you chose job over girl. That girl's ratted you out.
mhm.
Got it. Okay.
Chose
Lesson there,
jobs and
folks.
chose
Lesson there. Okay.
Listen,
Keep it going. Keep
definitely.
it going. So 6 months. Let's roll. What do we got?
So yeah, I did 6 months working in the fucking kitchen and shit, scooping cereal on trays, and so when I got out, it kind of triggered that kind of few weeks there really triggered the course that set this all off as far as crypto, and as far as me being in the position to really invest in crypto and learn business actually to run a Web3 project. The first thing I did when I got out is I reached out to a guy named Bill Rowland. He ran that first door-to-door company I worked for. It's called 2020 Companies. And he sold it for $150 million. And
Wow.
I found him on Facebook and just shot him a message. I was like, hey, man, you don't know me. I don't know you, but I just want to say thank you. Before you, I didn't know about personal development. I just spent 6 months in jail. I worked on personal development every day. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do big things. And like, this dude's super wealthy. I didn't expect him to answer me, but sure enough, he shoots me his phone number back. And
Wow.
we get on the phone, talk for like 2 hours, like we know each other forever. And you know, long story short, he took me under his wing and he helped me build a door to door company that I made a couple $100,000 off of in a year. And then he helped me start a healthcare company that I scaled to the point of making about 50 grand a month within only being out of jail for a few years. And then I had to shut that down, and he helped me start. He introduced me to my solar mentor, who helped me start a solar company that I had a lot of success with before leading in or jumping into Web3. Um, I know what's my kids running in here. I apologize.
That's okay. Listen, man. I took a good 5 minutes to
Yeah.
to,
Jeez.
to
I know.
even get the
I'm like,
audio straight.
All right, my kid wanted to rub and tell me good night. But so yeah. So anyways, my mentor Bill, he took me under his wing and got and like he introduced me to all my mentors that taught me business.
Yeah.
And then you know right around that same time that I met Bill, I had just started doing door to door again and building up. You know, I was knocking doors for real, but I had a little bit of money, right? So I was playing some poker at the casino, and when online poker got banned in the United States, my little poker crew, we used to travel around and cruise and stuff to like tournaments to save on money and just, you know, all crash in the same hotel room and shit. But my whole little poker crew went to Mexico and I couldn't go because I was on probation. So my buddy Casey was home from Mexico for Christmas, and we ran into each other at the casino. And he's like, "Man, did you hear about Bitcoin?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I heard it hit like $100, but it's never gonna go any higher." And he's like, "Dude, it hit 1,000." And I was like, "What?" And so like now every day for this next 6 months, I researched Bitcoin. I went to the poker forums, 2+2, and I just went back to the very first post about Bitcoin and read through that entire forum from like the bull markets, the bear markets, all that shit. And I would see all the FUD and all like the FOMO. It all came in cycles, and the reason it couldn't make it, and the reason it was never going to stop, it was the same stuff over and over again. So after 6 months or so, in June 2017, I pulled it. I got my biggest door to door paycheck today at that point in time was 10 G's in a week for a week. And I
Wow.
was like, dude, I'm not gonna
Nice.
blow it. Like, yeah, and you know, the door to door. I was still a door to door guy back then, and like, so I say that because like in the industry, there's door to door guys. There's guys like me that like break off for being a door to door guy. And like,
Right.
I know door to door guys that make 5 to 10 G's a week and just blow it, and they live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
But like, that's when I made that conscious decision. That I was like, I'm not gonna be like the typical door to door guy. I'm gonna make my first investment, and I fired $2,600 at my first Bitcoin, and it fucking I'm knocking doors all day long, watching it go up, and I'm like, it goes up
Yeah.
like $100, and I'm like, holy shit! I was like, I can't believe I've been doing this my whole life. I should have been investing. And then it goes up to like 3,000, and I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, so then maybe like a week later, it goes back to like $2,700, and I was like, dude, I still got some money left, so I bought 2 more Bitcoin. Ethereum was like 240 at that point in time. I grabbed an Ethereum. I think Litecoin was like 30 to $40, and I grabbed like 10 Litecoin. And I told myself that bag I wasn't gonna sell for 5 years and shit. And I actually, I never got rid of that bag. But and I have $1,000 of a pot coin that I bought back then that's probably worth like $80 right now, which is my shittiest early investment. But that's really like the start of that's probably by episode 1, right? Like that's how I got involved in the
Holy
crypto.
moly. That is
Dude.
episode 1, dude. I haven't
Dude.
even been looking at the camera. I've been trying to frantically write notes so fast about this.
I'm gonna
Oh
say,
yeah,
I think
man,
I learned
that's just episode
shorthand.
1.
dude, you put Matt in a pure note panic right there. I have never seen
Dude.
him furbishly take notes like that before. That's hilarious.
I mean, so we have like a director's conversation before we go to episode 2?
I mean, woo,
Yes,
yeah, we need to. I think we
yes,
do.
yes.
I mean, yeah.
So I got one
That's,
quick question. I'll let you go, Maddie. One thing that stood out to me is, right, so you have some, we know, how harsh marijuana possession is just ridiculous, right? That being said, it's unfortunate and you went to jail, right? But something that you said that really stuck out to me is you were like, yeah, so I was in jail and then 2 weeks later I was already making money. So like, and he's like 6 weeks later, I'm running my own office. So like, that is extremely interesting to me because you don't hear a lot of people that go through that and they're just like so quick on your feet. So I'd love to hear from you. Was it because while you're in jail, you're prepping for that? Or when you got out, you just had such a fire inside to like get shit done? Like, talk to us about like why you think you were so quickly be able to reacclimate and start making money.
So it was prepping, right? Like nothing happens by accident. The whole time I was in there, I was reading success books, sales books, motivational books.
Yeah.
The book that I honestly attribute my breakthrough through to is Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within, because before that I had been making like 50K a year. I might have touched like 70K or something. And like where I'm from, that was a lot of money. And like I always felt like I was doing good. And then like it just made me realize I was capable of so much more. And like I was just limiting myself because like I've seen people do more. And so like that it just kind of I came out with that plan that like I'm gonna do more than I've ever done, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Right.
And so the entire time I was in jail, my friend that actually was running the door to door company that broke off, that I went to, I was making phone calls to them, finding out about the business. I was like, so what's the contract like? Like, what's the market like? What are you guys hearing?
Right.
And just getting the game plan, like kind of like you talk about like hiring people that aren't salespeople and teaching them to be salespeople.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, so I was like, I went to college town. I'll go there and I'll teach those college kids how to sell. And so
Right.
like I went to Columbia, Missouri because it's a college town because I knew when I was getting out, college was coming back in session and shit, and I could just go and recruit 5 college kids, teach them how to sell, and then if out of that 5 college kids, I can get 3 of their friends and teach them how to sell, and that should only take me a couple weeks. And after that, I can promote a manager and keep the ball rolling and take 2 with me to Michigan, wherever the fuck you need me to go, and do the same thing there. So like I came out knowing exactly what I was going to do and just put my head down and do it. And granted, I did have help, right? My friend whose company it was, she believed in me and helped me get a car, and stuff like that. I would have had a lot harder times. I wouldn't have had that little handout, but they saw it. They knew I was gonna come business.
Dude,
Yeah.
just amazing story, and I love your response that it wasn't, because yes, there are random just stars aligning and stuff like that happens, but I love your response that you were grinding, man. You were learning, you were growing, you were reading, and look where that paid off, because that's the beginning of now how you're here, right? And we're talking and we're in this crypto space. Like, how cool of a thought is that? Maddie, you got anything to, or go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Well, I just think it's crazy, but for sure. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot to say here. A lot of success principles. Mikey definitely crushed it talking about, you obviously had a work ethic, right? No question. I think that you said where you grew up and that dealing drugs was the obvious path because you see how quick it is you can create wealth. The other big thing that people forget, though, is that, not having money is a really big motivator. You know what I mean? Being poor, there's a reason so many crazy success stories come from people who were just in abject poverty, right? Because there's something about being essentially at the bottom and just there's a desire to just not be there anymore that gives you a work ethic. The other thing it gives you is, and I think what's interesting in your story, is there's a theme here of, and this is, I think of this as a positive, and most entrepreneurs would, which is this, is essentially, basically, a disregard for the established rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm on probation, I'm supposed to stay in this state, but this is where the hustle is. I go to Florida because that's where the action is. You know what I mean? And even, selling drugs, obviously, not all rules are meant to be broken, right? Some rules are there for everyone's good. But can we all acknowledge that there's also some rules that probably don't really need to be there? And so it's kind of like you have to be able to flirt with both of those. And I do think why is there always this theme of these people that become, look at, to become a billionaire, if you don't think somebody to become a billionaire was able to do things that you and I can't do because they had an army of attorneys to essentially fudge their way through rules that you and I wouldn't be able to fudge our way through, right? This is just how it works. That's life, right? And so I think there's something to be said there because that attitude pushed you to basically do whatever it takes. And I think that that's a massive underrated component of success, which is, listen, there's nothing glamorous about door-to-door sales. It's hard, and it is just raw, just work ethic, right? But if you knock on enough doors and you can do that enough, there's a lot of money, and especially in this day and age, because nobody wants to do it, right? It's not an easy thing to do. It's a tremendous amount of rejection, and so to be able to do that and not really care what people think and move to where that has to go, not only shows a bunch of resilience and hustle, but a willingness is like, if you're willing to do that, Web3 is a breeze. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's really something that's cool. And I love how, you built the door-to-door biz. I love that you found a mentor, right? I think that's a big part of the story that a lot of people might just kind of skip over. Finding a mentor and finding that book, by Tony Robbins, whether the mentorship be through an author or whether the mentorship be in real life, these are smart things for people to do. and then you were willing to listen to that, humble yourself, and say, what do I need to do to make it happen? And so, yeah, man, I just think there's a lot there that it's interesting because, yeah, you had some bad takes, right? You had some setbacks, but your story isn't that different from most people who are just wildly successful. You know what I mean? They also had failures. It may not have been legally, but man, losing a business is losing a business. It's hard. You know what I mean? I've lost businesses. It sucks, right? But it's like, we've said this last stream. Tyrion Lannister says, you know, you don't start from zero, you start from experience. And so you're constantly building a skill set. And man, I truly believe this day and age, Mike and I have said this many times. This is why we're big on interpersonal skills and being able to talk with people. It's a lost art. It's a dying skill set to see people, younger and younger generations, be able to have a conversation with somebody they don't know and be interesting, be engaging, be friendly, be courteous, have customer service. I 100% agree with you. You have to find people in a lot of different areas to find that. There's no major. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to come with me with a college degree and say, I know people skills because I majored in X, Y, or Z. It just doesn't work, right? But I see on resume they did door-to-door sales for over a year. Okay, now you got my attention, because that's not easy to do. So that's kind of a lot I wanted to unpackage there. And what I wanted to ask you is, tell me about your journey mentally through that whole process, right? As you're learning these things, what was the drive, right? At first you said with drugs it was to make money. What was the drive that kept you going back, kept you willing to do something like door-to-door sales, start the next business, whatever it was? What was happening mentally there as you found these stages of building? What was going on through there?
Great story. I mean, great question.
So for me, it was always just knowing that there was more out there than what I had. Like you know, when I first got into to door-to-door sales, it was another poker friend of mine that you know, I knew this guy from the poker table. His name was Chad. I knew he made good money because he lost a lot of money, but I didn't know what he did exactly. I just knew he had like a hustle, and it was like sales, and he had people that worked for him, and they knocked doors, and he made money knocking doors, and he made money off them. And like I knew when I sold weed, like I sold weed, and I had people that sold weed for me, and I made money off them. And I was like, yeah, man, that sounds like a hustle. I think I could do that. And I was like, Chad, can you give me a job? And I found out later he called another good guy who actually taught me to go door to door. And now this guy lives in Mexico and is a full-time trader. And when he comes to St. Louis, he stays at my house. His name's Derek Garrison. But he called it his manager, who was another door to door guy that came in from there to trading now, ironically enough. But he called his manager. He's like, yeah, Derek, there's this kid Andrew. He's kind of ghetto. He's probably not going to work out, but he's my friend, so we'll give him a shot.
He's
And then
kind of
boom, the rest is
ghetto,
history.
and he's not going to work out probably.
I love it.
That's a great way to pitch somebody that you want to work with. Oh man! But hey,
but
listen.
you know, this dude was like 22 and making like $4 or $5 grand a week, and so I was like, dang, you know, like that. I want that, and so that was like the entry level for me to want more. But then when I got out of jail and met my mentor, who had made tens of millions of dollars, and you know, he had let me borrow his $100,000 Mercedes for a month just because we were traveling. I didn't have a car,
right?
And like I'd go stay with his mansion on the golf course, and he'd have me driving around his Rolls Royce, which is like a $480,000 car.
Yeah.
And like I'm driving like 30 miles an hour because I'm nervous as shit. And he's like, are you okay? And just get the gas. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to wreck your fucking house. Like,
right.
So, but then just like experiencing that, you know, it always made me want that, and then kind of then I'm kind of at a point now that what really attracted me to Web3 and wanting more, to where I could have just went on with Web2 businesses and been successful, and you know, ended up being a multi-millionaire. But you know, I want to make you know hundreds of millions, and you know, potentially make a run at being a billionaire. And I just feel like the potential to do that is in Web3 and not in Web2 for somebody like me. So yeah, that's just me. I just want more, and it's not even about like the money. It's about what the money can do. Like my long-term goal is to own the St. Louis Cardinals. That's my 20-year goal.
Nice.
You know, about at this point in time, 17-year goal. And you know, like I don't know exactly how I'm gonna make it happen, but I know I'm gonna need a fuck ton of money to make it happen. So I'm just gonna do something that I would do a bunch of stuff that gives me the opportunity to make a fuck ton of money.
I'll tell you what just puts you on the you know, rocket ship to owning them being on the Midlife Crisis show. Just saying.
Whoa.
Don't forget that.
You're stepping
Don't forget
in the
that.
direction. So, you actually hinted at that, and maybe this is for further down the road, because I think this is a good kind of segue into what we've heard a lot is you just wanted more, and a lot of that, from what I've heard, seemed to be driven by money at this point. And we all, I think, know money does not solve all the problems. And a lot of people that just chase money their whole lives end up very sad and lonely, right? So, but it works for some people. You said it's more than just the money. So was there a time throughout this episode 1 that perspective started changing, or is that episode 2 or 3 conversation that we have to have?
Yeah. And I still have an episode 1 question too. So but keep going.
That perspective really didn't change until about episode 2, probably, when I got around my mentor and realized that at the end of the day, like, he would have traded spots with me, right? Like, he was very wealthy, but had gone through a few divorces.
Right.
2 of his kids didn't talk to him because his ex-wife had brainwashed him into believing this guy was a bad man. This man that, like, would randomly gave a Hummer away to a stranger because he said God told him to, and it turned out the lady had just wrecked her van and didn't know how she was going to get her kids to school, so he gave her a credit card and told her to keep it for a month, and he left it on for 6 months. So, like, great guy. But, like, at the end of the day, like, he just wanted, like, a family to come home to that loved him, and, like, friends and family to be around, and that's why he was so generous, right? Like, he offered to let my family come live in his mansion with him, pay no rent. He's like, I just want you guys here. Like, when you guys came to visit for that week, it was so great. I think it'd just be great to have you guys here full time. And, and honestly, it was right when that was honestly what that mindset shift led to me actually becoming more prosperous with money. To be real, it's when I had my greatest success in business start was when my healthcare company was making like $50,000 a month. And at that point in time, I hadn't been out of jail long. Like, we had been living with my mom, building my business up and stuff, and I couldn't find anybody to rent to me because I was a felon. And I was making, I was making $100,000 plus a year, a couple $100,000 a year, and nobody wanted to rent to me because I was a felon. And but then I remember like thinking it sucked that I was making all this money, I couldn't even live where I wanted to live, and I'm driving a Mercedes, but I'm coming home to my mom's house, but then, like, one night it just kind of clicked to me. I was like, dude, you know what? Like, I could have nothing, come home, lay on this fucking futon, but, like, regardless, my girlfriend and my kid think I'm the coolest guy in the world, and, like, that's all that fucking matters. And I was like, I'm happy, and like that, and like I was like, Bill would love to have this right now, even though he's got the mansion and the Rolls Royce. And but like he would have this, and like that was just like my aha moment, to where like I just realized there's more about the money, but more what the money could do. And then also why I've really been attracted to Web3 is the passive income factor, right? Like I love the fact that I can work from home and take a day off if I want to, right? I really don't, but like if like we went to Vegas for 17 days over the summer, and I was still making money on my passive plays and crypto and stuff. So for me, it's about generating enough to where I can always step away if I want to, and generations of my lineage will be taken care of. And
legacy.
Yeah,
I got you.
And like I enjoy making money, and like I feel like somebody like me is like once of 100 years type person in a family. So it's just up to me to make like sure the next 100 years are good.
Dude, I love that.
For sure.
You actually gave me chills when you described, like, I realized when I was, coming home to my mom's house, but you had the epiphany, like, Bill wants this, me sleeping on a futon, being loved by my wife and my daughter, right? Like, that is just an amazing realization, man. I mean, that's a real word. Before we get to episode 2, though, Maddie has another episode 1 question.
Yeah, and just also a take on that. I mean, what an amazing this goes back to that question I asked you. What were some of the mental evolutions? And look at just what you described about the mental evolution from money, right? You know, and we're all there, by the way. I distinctly remember the same thing. I thought money was the answer. You know what I'm saying? If I just had money, it'd be better. You know what I mean? And you know, you get older and you realize, ooh, okay, I've had money now, and you know, money doesn't solve problems. You know what I mean? In fact, it creates a lot of problems, right? And so, but I will say this, in terms of happiness and joy, having enough, you know, how do I say it? Money doesn't guarantee happiness. Poverty will ensure misery. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we can't ignore it, but there's a lot of other facets. Here's my next question, though, back for episode 1. You've gone through all of this, and you already hinted at it. You're going through this now as a felon. Now, we live in a world where, outside of having your own business, there are very few places where you can escape that title, right? And there's all kinds of talk out there about whether that's right, whether that's wrong, is this fair? But let's just get real. Let's just talk transparent here. If I want to go get a job at Google, they're going to ask, and there's going to be an issue. And it's interesting that you can be a felon from 30 years ago and you're still treated as if you just got out of prison today, right? And so, is that, we're not going to get into the justification of whether that's right or wrong, because that's a completely different conversation. What I'm curious, though, is how much did that weigh into your desire to be an entrepreneur after the fact? I mean, you're already an entrepreneur before, but to continue with businesses, and then how much of that was a factor for Web3? Because Web3 is a place where you're a wallet address, right? I mean, theoretically, you're just another one of any of us, right? We could be anybody, and there's a power in that. There's an anonymity to that a lot of people go for. Whether it's people in your situation maybe trying to get away from something, or whether it's people like, listen, I mean, Mike knows how many people were celebrities in Hate Beast, and the fact that they were there and nobody knew who they were was something they were escaping from, you know? And so it can go from kind of both edges. How much of Web3 is a factor of that background?
So, it was zero. Honestly, I came into Web3 full time by accident. To be real,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as like being an entrepreneur, man, like again, like I've just always been an entrepreneur.
Always been an entrepreneur.
When I was in middle school, I got in trouble for selling like soda and Starbucks in the coat room. When I
Me
got into
too.
high school,
Me too.
I got into music. And you know, my junior year, I was actually doing real. You know, while I sell weed, but I was doing good because I went and got all the producers together, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll sell beats for you guys." And I just went to all the rappers and sold them the producers' beats, and like I was making more money than anybody. And then the producers ended up getting pissed and trying to do it themselves, and it didn't work out for them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, then like drug sales and then poker. So I never have been like a real job type of guy, to be real. Like when I did get out of jail that second time, I took a job at Best Buy just because I needed something. And when I first met Bill, he didn't have anything door to door near me.
Yeah.
And there was you might know who Hardcore Closer Ryan Stewman is, but I was following him on Facebook. He's a sales trader that had
Yeah.
a similar background to me, and
Okay.
I was like, man, I want to go work for that guy. And I ended up talking my way into an online interview with like 7 or 8 other people. And like long story short, he had us pitch the product and let his online sales group vote on who he should hire, and he ended up hiring me. And so I was working for him for a little bit after that, and so like I really only lasted at a real job for about like 5 or 6 weeks before I was back, you know, in the
Yeah.
entrepreneurship sales game.
Is it a factor for the future? Right?
No,
Because you say, like, for example, a goal to own the Cardinals, right? And we all know the nice part about really big purchases is if you have the money, nobody cares about your background.
yeah,
That's the nice thing, right? Is that, I mean, does it play into it at all? And the only reason I ask is because I've hired people who have backgrounds that have made it really hard for them to be able to get jobs, and a lot of it was, you know, some people just need a shot. They just need an opportunity. You know, they're willing to work hard. And I just didn't know if that was something you're passionate about, or if you'd experienced anything like that, because I think that's actually kind of a beautiful thing about the space, is that anybody can come into Web3 regardless of background and can succeed here. And I was just curious if you had any thoughts.
Oh well, yeah, I do love that about the space because it's like it's a blank slate on all levels, right? To where
Yeah.
like you as a person, like all that matters in Web3 is what's on the blockchain about
Yep.
you. Did you run some rug pulls? Did you fuck some people over? Like, yeah, that's gonna be with you forever on the blockchain.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
like the and then also like you're seeing like credit based stuff, so you're gonna see like with some projects being built out, and so like you're gonna see some people get a new chance at rebuilding their credit on the blockchain.
Yeah.
So like I
All
think that
right.
is the beauty of Web3, that we all do get a fresh start, and we all start with zero crypto is what I say. So
I
yeah,
like that.
it is. It just, me personally, it's just never been that big of a thing to me, to where I just always knew I'd be able to talk my way into it, even if I was like, even with some door to door markets, I wasn't supposed to be able to knock them because I was a felon, but one way or another there'd be a phone call made like, oh yeah, he's really good, can we get an exception? And boom, there
Yeah.
I am. So like,
Cool.
if there's a will, there's a way.
So it sounds like being good at what you do also helps. So that's powerful. No, that's good, man. That was just you were in a unique position to answer that question, so I wanted to ask. So no, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thanks for the honesty.
And with
absolutely.
that being said, we're on episode 2, bro. And we've
Episode
already
two.
almost been talking for an hour as well. Time is flying. You know how this works, though. You start talking on Twitter Space, and 4 hours later, you don't know what the hell
Yeah.
happened. So take us to episode 2, man. Like we were starting to get into Bitcoin. You're investing in Bitcoin. How do you get into Web3? And I'm assuming kind of episode 2 is like your intro into Web3, and then episode 3 is really like, what have you been up to? How do you get the idea for copying crypto? Starting, I mean,
Yeah.
dude, you're not lying. Grinding every day. Every day you're doing a space. That's
Every
insane.
Yes.
single day.
Every
Yeah. So like,
single day.
episode two is really just like how I got started in Web3 in general, and then episode three would really just what I got going on right now, and then
Right.
the future plans, near future, and then long term out, depending on how long you want to talk. You want to talk
I
about some of the
love
cool
it.
stuff I'm about to have built out.
Yeah, we
Um,
Yep.
definitely want to do that. So let's go episode 2, and then we'll hit 3. So hit us with episode 2.
All right, all right. So like episode two, and you know how I am now after us kind of chatting back and forth and being connected on social media. Like
Yeah.
if I get excited about something, I post about it, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. If I like a project,
Yeah.
like even if I don't hold any of it, I'll post about it just because I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I first bought my bag, I started buying my bags in 2017. I was posting on Facebook about Bitcoin and crypto and stuff. And I noticed every day I would get like 3 or 4 messages for people that would need help with stuff, whether it was like what to invest in or even just how to set up a wallet, stupid stuff. And so I with Bill, me and my mentor, we would travel a lot, so we would always take off from Thanksgiving to New Year's, and just that was just our time we'd be off. And so I had this downtime, and I was like, I bet I could probably start a private group and just giving people kind of crypto advice. And one of my friends was like, "Yeah, that'd be really cool if you took on like 12 or 13 people by the New Year." And I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna take on at least like 40 by the New Year." Well, I ended up taking on 100 clients within 40 days.
Wow.
And yeah,
Dang.
it's the group turned into a hive mind of a bunch of us investing in nodes together and flipping them, and I ended up getting offered a nice chunk of money for the group. Somebody offered to buy it off me when the bear market came in 2018. So
Explain that.
I
Explain that to, because I don't know what the hell you just said. I mean, I've heard about it, but just like a quick overview of nodes and all the stuff that you just said. I think it'd be interesting to people watching as well.
Oh, for sure. And I apologize. Sometimes I forget people just aren't in Web3 like 60 hours a week like we are. But um, so like a node, like you have your miners, right? A lot of people that they know about blockchain miners are the ones that solve the algorithms and bring the coins into existence. and then you have your nodes, which they're the ones that verify all this and process transactions. So miners are rewarded coins for solving the algorithm,
Yep.
and nodes and validators are rewarded coins for processing and showing faith in the blockchain. So in 2017, during the ICO shitcoin era, there was a lot of money in investing in a node when you could get it for cheap, print tokens for 3 to 6 weeks, whatever the time was while it was building up hype, sell the entire node and your entire bag at the top, and it was just almost like yield farming today before there was yield farming
Right.
is kind of what the closest it was to. But like some of these had higher cost of entry, so we would do them together, kind of like we team up and just all piece it together. And it's me and like four other dudes that were kind of like running the group and moderators that would manage it and move between the right nodes every month and all that good shit. But so yeah, it was just kind of like we were kind of all investing together and stuff. And
Yep.
somebody offered to buy the entire group for me because obviously I was getting like a piece of everything and stuff. Um, so somebody offered to buy the entire group for me, and like it was a bear market, and it was a nice chunk of money. So I sold the group and stepped away, and so I was quiet about crypto for a while actually, and then the next bull market came around, and a few guys from the group reached out to me, and they wanted me to start a new group, and I was like, yeah, I like teaching people and helping other people be successful while I'm trying to be successful, so let's do it. So it started
Yeah.
with a few of us, and I was like, I'm gonna keep this one a little bit smaller and make it a higher cost of entry and stuff like that. So we slowly grew it, and we got into a lot of coins during the last bull run early, like dot and all kinds of stuff like that, and did really well with coins. And then I thought that and obviously yield farming, we can always talk about yield farming if we need to talk about that. Like yield farming is just loaning your assets out and earning interest on them is the basic overview on that. But we were doing a lot of yield farming, and at that point in time I thought NFTs were still stupid, because I was like, man, who would want to buy digital art? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so there was this guy I knew who was pretty smart, or I thought he was smart, and he was buying NFTs, and I was like, what the fuck, man? So like, I started at least looking at NFTs, and I found a gaming NFT. It was called Crypto Blades, and it made perfect sense to me because you bought their coin, skill coin, and you would use skill coin to mint a fighter and a weapon for your fighter.
Right.
And by mint, I mean like you're the person that's like creating the NFT, the first person bringing it into existence to own it.
Okay.
And you would take your fighter and you'd pick a weapon, and you'd have your fighter go fight a monster. And if you won that fight, you were rewarded skill coin. And
Right.
that made perfect sense to me. I was like, okay, I played games growing up, so I can take this fighter and this weapon, and they're both NFTs, and I can use it there in crypto. Fuck yeah! And that was my first NFT investment. I got the group in, and it ended up going 180x over 6 weeks,
Holy
and it
lordy.
was yeah, it was crazy, making like $500 a day just clicking buttons, because it was really just select the monster, or select the fighter, select the sword, select the monster, and if you won, you won crypto.
Right.
and,
Dang.
and so we made a bunch of money on that. And I figured out, there's like a few people that were in the game early. We kind of figured out that it wasn't going to be sustainable because it was paying out more than it was taking in.
Right.
Classic fucking Ponzi scheme. And
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and like,
I mean, let's be
so like we
honest,
figured out, yeah, like, oh yeah,
98%.
there's only about 2 weeks left. So
Right.
a bunch of us moved out, and it kind of tanked the price for real. I guess that's my first time becoming a whale.
There you
So
go.
we but it wasn't really me. There were motherfuckers with big bags that moved that that really tanked it. I just knew it was coming because common sense. Um, but anyways, after that, we put a huge emphasis on focusing on play to earn games, because I just saw, I was like, all right, as long as we get these early, and we can grind it out, we take X amount percentage for profit until a certain point. So now we're free rolling, and then we take, we play the game of building a bag, and decide when we're going to dump it. And we were just cycling through game after game, and making for what it was for us was a lot of money. And then having like stables of people in underdeveloped countries playing these games for us, and like, you know, they're making like $30 a day, and we're making $30 a day off each one of them, and like they're used to making like $30 a week in the country they live in. So like it's a win-win situation. So we did really good there, and so after that point, you know, we had our group, and we were mostly crypto guys, but we had some success in NFTs, and we're like, all right, we know how to spot a good crypto coin. We know what goes into making a good crypto coin. We know how to spot a good NFT project. We know what goes into making a good NFT project. Why don't we make our own NFT project? So we kind of crunched the numbers on NFT trading last year, and we figured out blue chip NFTs, so like high dollar NFTs, probably like $5,000-6,000 plus, had the same upside as the shitty NFTs most people were gambling on, but they had much greater stability. But your average person couldn't afford a blue chip NFT, so I was like, all right, well, like something that would be cool for my little group, and then like my little group's friends, would be if we have an NFT project to where we invest in blue chip NFTs, and it's like fractionalized ownership of blue chip NFTs. We'll grow a vault, flip it, and you know everybody will share these NFTs, and the value goes up, and this and that. So I got linked up with this kid who had a similar idea and had some artwork put together, and kind of that's how our first project, Solads, came together. We did a stealth mint on December 31st, and minted it out over a weekend, and really again just pure hustle alone. You know, 2 weeks leading up to it, we were on Zoom calls, you know, twice a day, you know, every single night, and most of our holders we actually onboarded into NFTs. We were the first NFT that they had ever bought, and so
Mm.
we got that going. And sorry, like I said, it was supposed to just kind of be for me and friends of friends. Obviously we tried to expand a little bit, so I was in Twitter Spaces, and doing AMAs with other projects and Discords, and next thing you know, since our our community was new, we decided to do something called Coffee and Crypto, to where every morning at 9:06 a.m. Central, we would we would come on a Facebook like chat room, or just like a video chat like this, but you had to have an invite to it, and we just talk crypto, you know, and it was, hey, experts learn from beginners, beginners learn from experts. There are no bad questions. Fire any question at us you want to learn. You know, we want to teach you guys, and then like we'd make calls on the air, and people were making money, and we got some of our people. Like I called the guys at $900, and 70 days later it was 30 grand, and you know people, we called that live on the air, people got a piece of it. We called Bitbirds at $50, and it ran up to 1,500 live on air 30 minutes later. So like a lot of people in our group were making money outside of that. So with us, with our first collection, it was never about the artwork, right? It was just about the utility. And we had grown
Yeah.
our community and got around like other communities with cool artwork, and we're like, man, we want to give the community some cooler artwork they can be more proud to rock. So my partner at that time, Aaron, he was our tech guy.
hmm
He designed another collection that was a little more 3D, and we airdropped it on him for free. So our Gen 2, oh, and I'm sorry, our first collection that we minted out, we instantly ran up over like probably about 4 days. We ran up to a 5 Solana floor. So we minted for 0.5 Solana, ran up to 5 Solana. So we 10x our investors' investment pretty quick.
Uh-huh.
Then we gave them a free NFT, and that the Gen 2 lads ran up to 6 Solana, the free one, which is really weird because usually like free ones don't
Right, right.
hold compared to
For sure.
the first one. And we had the inverse business model to where we mint in whale like proportions, do quick flips, hold them one or two for a moonshot. And originally we were going to airdrop holders profits, but then we went to holders were able to stake off the value of the vault, and earn lag token, and there'd be buybacks. And then I'm kind of a tokenomics guy, and I put together a game, the crypto version of Monopoly. And like I said, if you guys really want to get into that, we're building that out too this year. And it's the crypto version of Monopoly. You roll dice, you move around the board, you pass go, you earn our native token. if you land on a property you don't own, you pay rent in our native token. If you earn that property, there's fractionalized ownership of that property. So everybody who owns that property, they collect rent daily, or as people are playing the game.
Right.
But if you own properties, you have to roll at least once every 24 hours, because that's how we keep our in-game economy flowing. So you can't just collect free money. And there's a million burn mechanisms built into it. That's a whole discussion in itself. But I put together that game, which is going to be our third mint. And
Okay.
totally transparent. I guess this is where the war with the dark side starts. We had smooth ride until here. I guess you could say smooth ride. I started out in jail, but we had smooth ride and went free till here.
That's
But
all right. So did Anakin. You're good.
true. We we announced our game board mint. It was gonna, our first collection was only 700. We airdropped the other 700. So our game board mint was a 3,000 piece collection. It was going to be our biggest mint to date. My CFO Christian, he loved the idea. He invested 100 G's in marketing. So we hired some good celebrities, or we thought were good celebrities, I guess, to like rock our profile pic and do some interviews with me. And we went to NFT Week Miami, had a booth there. I spoke at CryptoCon. We hung out at Solana Hacker House, and just to be totally transparent, I let my overwhelming confidence in myself and my team lead me to bite off more than we could chew, and we just didn't complete the mint. It just failed, right? So we partnered with another platform called Scoby, which is going to be like the social media of NFTs, and we were going to be like a feature project on their platform, and so we figured that could be enough to push us through mint. But then their launch got delayed, so now we had put all our chips in that at that point in
Yeah.
time. So it was like, all right, what do we do now? And so we're like, we just
Yeah.
gotta close the mint down and go back to the drawing board and figure out what we're gonna do. And so like my CFO Christian, he was like, man, just you need to take a vacation, bro. You've worked every day since December.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've done these coffee and cryptos every morning. He's like, you've been talking about wanting to play the World Series of Poker. Just go to Vegas and play the World Series of Poker. He's like, I already got you a hotel room. Just go. And,
Wow.
and I was like, damn, okay. So like he got me a hotel room. So I took my whole family to Vegas. We went out there for 17 days in June, and I played a few World Series events. I had a couple cashes, but nothing worth talking about, right? Nothing life changing. But so while I was in Vegas, um, they couldn't get into my Facebook account to do the live or to do the coffee and crypto, because like I was gambling till like 4 a.m. And Vegas time it starts at like 7 a.m. So I just wasn't getting up for coffee and crypto.
Right.
But we were paying our community manager to run coffee and crypto for me, just so we could keep providing some type of value for the community while we figured out what we were going to do with this game. So I got a coffee ground stuck in my tongue.
Speaking of coffee.
Good, yeah. But so anyways, I'm in Vegas, and they can't get my Facebook account to run it for our community. We normally have like 12 to 20 people from our community hanging out. So they went to Facebook to do it. And one day on Facebook, they went to Twitter to do it in a space. And one day on Twitter, they get like 60 people that come through. And we're like, man, let's just do it on Twitter now. So like I come home from Vegas, and I go to kind of start running coffee and crypto again, and we decide on Saturdays we're going to do like a lot, like they were letting projects come through and just pitch every day and shill shitty projects. I'm like, man, that's not what we're doing. And so I was like, here's what we're doing. If you guys want to do that, we'll have a Shark Tank Saturday. They can come through. We'll ask them hard questions. If they suck, I'm going to tell them they suck. But at the end, if one of them's good, I'll pick at least one of them to buy.
Yeah.
And so like our community manager's like, nah, we're never going to do it like that. I hate to tell you this, but coffee and crypto is my show. You left, and so it's mine. And I was like, dude, we paid you to run coffee and crypto. And so like our community manager, one of our guys was supposed to be like a sales guy for us, and our artist tried to actually hijack the project. And so like this is
Wow.
when like we really start having like the Star Wars aerial battles and shit, right? In the
Yeah,
metaverse.
all right.
And like so like they're flooding us, and like I'm fucking taking personal shots at them and shit because like I don't give a fuck, I'm an asshole.
Oh,
And like
jeez.
so some of the people in the community are like, I can't believe Andrew said that to him. And like, so like we had like a big space about it, and I was like, look, guys, if you want a nice guy to run your project, I'm not your guy. That's not how it works in Web3. Those are called pussies. I'm not a pussy. If people push me, I'm gonna push back. If you want a pussy that runs your project, this ain't the project for you. And all our big holders were with it, and they
Mhm.
saw my passion, I guess. And so at that point in time, we were just like, hey, just bear with us. We're not going anywhere. We know coffee and crypto is a hit. We put our minds around it. We're like, look, yeah, we dropped the project, and our initial investors, they were able to like 18x 16x their investment off the free airdrop and all that good stuff. That was great value. We came up with a game, and yeah, we didn't have the Facebook or the social media presence to mint it out, but we
Uh-huh.
our holders, they saw the value, that was good. But the best thing we did for the community in general was coffee and crypto. Every single day you knew you could show up to learn, and you knew that we were going to make calls so you could make money
Yeah.
just hanging out with us. And we're like, we
Yeah.
need to be coffee and crypto. So we're like, hey, no matter what, like the community manager and the artist, they tried to hijack it and have like a second coffee and crypto. And like every morning you would see theirs, and then sure enough, he just couldn't keep up the pace.
Right.
His phone died
Yeah.
one day, didn't have reception one day. Next thing you know, who knows? Now they're not doing it anymore. But um, and then it just we grew, right. We got a new artist, and she's been hanging out and vibing, and she's finally finished our collection, and so it really picked up the real vibe of us. So now we went back to the drawing board, and we finally have it all together, and we're about to roll it out. And really, that's episode 2, right? Is I really got to this point by accident. It started up to just me wanting to provide value to my friends and friends of
Yeah.
friends, and then the next thing you know, I'm doing it every day.
Dude,
Wow.
there's something immediately reaction, something to be said from just, you hear this all the time. And I was actually thinking about this today. Like, when you're in the thick of things, you're waking up every day and you're doing something, you're like, am I making that much of a difference, or is anything really happening? But then when you
Yeah.
look back a year from now and you're like, holy shit, a lot has happened. That's
Yeah.
your story is a great example of that, right? Like, you literally started that story saying, I hope I can get 40 people in my Discord group by the end of the year. And you had 100 people paying you, right? And which turned into multiple NFTs. And yeah, you had a stumble, but it's just amazing that you and the consistency is what really paid off.
Yeah.
One question before Maddie goes.
No, go ahead, man. You're good.
I'm interested in the failed part, because I think failures are very interesting to me, right? Because you said a couple things. You said your britches were big. You got some celebrity people that maybe weren't the right celebrities. That project delayed, so you didn't have that, and the social push and marketing wasn't there. Looking back, do you think if you did things differently, you could have sold it out, or was it kind of at the point that it wasn't going to sell out no matter what you did? I'm interested to hear.
100%. Looking back, and right in hindsight, it's so easy to be like, oh, it's like reading a chart, right? Like
Right,
you can guess the next shit that's coming, but the easiest thing to do is look back and figure out what happened. Like,
right.
Yeah.
um,
Right.
so like we truly messed up because we had a community member suggest that we go to Twitter Spaces with our coffee and crypto while we were doing it, and we had pushback within our community, and I sided with the community because a lot of them came from Facebook, and they weren't even on Twitter. I didn't have a Twitter presence pre
Right,
crypto.
right,
I only created Twitter for crypto and NFTs.
right.
So I was like, nah, I don't want to have to migrate our community from Twitter to, or from Facebook to Twitter. But if we had done that, we would probably be some of the biggest players on Twitter right now. I look at these other shows that started in January that are probably about five to eight times bigger than us, and I'm like, man, like our content's way better.
Yeah.
And I know like we'll catch up with them eventually, and we'll surpass them, and eventually we'll be the go-to source on Twitter for your morning crypto info. But if we would have started there, we would have built up to a point to where by the time I would have launched the game, we would have had enough of a presence to mint it out.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a learning mistake. And then we like I don't know if you guys know who Star Atlas is, but they were a highly successful game with a lot of hype.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
hired the marketing company that brought them to market, and I was like, damn it, they hit with Star Atlas, they got to be good, and
Right.
they just
Yeah.
overpromised, under delivered. Like they were actually sending me
Mm.
some shit in my email last week about like, yeah, we found these people that want to make videos on you guys, and I was like, yeah, that was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And so like we fired about 35 G's there out of our 100K budget.
Right.
And so like that was a bad fire there. And then you think having some influencers rock your profile pic will really drive movement, but it won't, right? You to truly win in Web3 right now, you have to be active in the space as a team. And we were crypto guys with a good NFT idea, but we weren't known in the NFT space, and we weren't a part of the NFT space. We didn't know the culture and who we were building for.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's what I love about our new artwork is our artist. She came and has hung out in the spaces every day for the past couple months,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
really exemplifies our culture of who we are
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
coffee and crypto.
Dude, I'm just so excited that we're going to be able to combine our, because we have a great little community too, and I think we're doing bullish on the Twitter and the Twitter spaces too, because we think what we do here is completely different than anybody's doing, right? It's these open, raw, exposed conversations where let's be honest, most of the Twitter spaces out there are just very awkward, open conversations. Not much is
It's like Jerry
happening.
Springer shit.
It's very
Jerry-
bizarre,
Just
right?
argue.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. So I think I've listened into your show. I think you're doing good and you're offering good advice and you've got interesting conversation, and I think that's what it's about. What you said was interesting too, and I'm gonna actually agree. I actually was having this conversation with a buddy yesterday, and I was asking him because we're brand ambassadors of a little project, Free Mint, that we think is really cool, and we're trying to. The hardest thing in this space is minting, like this thing minted out, right? But now time has gone by, and like you really gotta take advantage of the mint hype phase, right? It's
Yeah.
very hard to keep on building after that. Even though this little mint has built more than some of these projects have that have made millions in a year, right? Full game, everything, all in a month
Yeah.
and a half. And I was like, what are these big projects spending in marketing? And he gave me a traditional Web2 answer. He was like, oh, well, we spent like over $1 million. And I'm like, what? So what did you spend $1 million on? And he was like, oh, like creative assets and, videos. And I was like, no. Like, I understand that's technically a marketing expense because it's production and creative. Like, what did you spend on media by? And it's really $100,000 or less. And the space is all about networking and making sure the one person that has all of the contacts that can just subtly push her project. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 110%. And honestly, that's what like when I push people on joining my private group. I still take people on. I'm selective about who I take on, but it's it's like, yeah, if you join, you're gonna get information before most people because like I'm in this space every single day. I run a project. I talk to other people that run projects. They run ideas by me before they run it by their community. So I have an idea that
Mm-hmm.
this announcement's coming out. It's gonna pump in a couple of weeks. We should probably grab some. Right, and
Right.
so that's why I keep my alpha group exclusive. I'm like, yeah, this is the price. Why should I let you in? That's the pitch. Why? And when if you really want to be a part of something that's like print money, that's what you do when you're in the space and you're connected, and that's why I make the effort to be in the space 60, 90, hours plus a week, and bring massive value to the space because other people want to bring, it's, you get in what you put back with anything, right? So
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
if you truly want to do this full time, do it like it's a full time business.
Mm-hmm. I love it, man. That's great. Great responses. Maddie, any thoughts about all of this episode 2 talk?
I had some thoughts, but honestly, it was a journey just to listen where it's been going and what you've gotten through at this point. And at this point, I'm ready for the next episode. I want to know.
Hit
All
us.
right, I see what's happening. I kind of see where this is going. Um, I want to know how this kind of evolves into, the crypto and coffee and what you've been doing now with the alpha groups. I mean, you've done so many different things. I want to see where you kind of end up and where you think your niche is going to be in the space.
Yeah. And you got to talk about the Saudi monkeys because I don't think I've pieced 2 and 2 together on that yet.
Oh yeah, so I guess so. This is episode 3, right?
This is
So
episode 3, baby. Let's do it.
Let's go.
we had our successes, our failures. We had our competition. We crushed them because we're winners, baby. Is what we do.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. It's just a funny side note. You know that like one funny like meme of like the cat that saw it
Yes.
and
Yes.
like looks like shocked.
Yeah.
Every day I would tag their coffee and crypto in a tweet and be like, NFT people, I love communities. Me, I love communities, but the competition, I'll hold their head underwater and put a water hose in their mouth till they drown. NFT people, that cat. And like, it would just be trolling them every day. And like, it's just funny because like, yeah, I love the community, but at the end of the day, like, we'll smash the competition. And if you
Right.
want to be a part of my project, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the leader you get. That will smash the competition for you. But um, anyways, so yeah, we've got our coffee and crypto rolling. We smashed the competition. We have our first mint coming up, and we're really gonna piece it all together with this, right? So, over this last couple months, while the artist was designing the work, we wanted to do something fun for the community, but like we didn't want to just drop like a shitty collection or anything, just to do it. And we came across this derivative collection. There's a big collection on Solana called Solana Monkey Business, and
Yep.
then there's a derivative which is like a copy of it called Saudi Monkeys, which is like they look just like them, but they have like the Arab
Yeah.
turbans or whatever you call them. And so we had met these kids, and like I'm bullish. Like the one thing you said about Web3 is everybody gets to the same starting point. I'm bullish on kids that are 16, 18 building. If they're dedicated, fuck yeah, I'd like to see you guys win. So we met these kids through coffee and crypto, and I liked them. So the monkeys were cheap, so only like probably like point 0.3 soul, something like that. So we threw a couple soul at them, and well, one of the kids lost the entire treasury in a coin flip game. We got a lot of coin flip games on Solana, and and so they were gonna run the project. Well, we're like, hold up, how about we just buy all the contracts and the royalty wallet off you guys for a little bit, and we'll derug the project. So everybody thought it would rug, so it went down to like 0.02. So we bought this collection, the Saudi monkeys, and started derugging it about a month ago, actually, about 5 weeks ago. And over the past 5 weeks, we've been able to burn 10% of the collection and raise the floor price 10x. So I consider it derug because it's about where it was when the guys started it. And the way we did it was we on our Shark Tank, we have projects pitch
Mm-hmm.
us, and what we
Yeah.
do is every Saturday we ask them if they want to donate to the giveaway, an NFT or a whitelist spot, and listeners of the show can go grab these Saudi monkeys. And like I said, they at that point in time they're only 0.02 Solanas, and Solana's like $35 right now, so really just a couple bucks. And right now they're point like 1 Solana, so still just a couple bucks. We're in the dip a little bit right now, but what they can do is they can grab these monkeys for a couple bucks, send it to the Burn wallet, and then they get a chance at winning that raffle for all those NFTs. And usually it's about 10 to 12 Solana worth of NFTs. And we've had one NFT before that we've given out that on its own ran up to 12 Solana. So because a lot of these projects are starting out and stuff. So
And so in essence, is the theory there as you're burning these, then it's increasing the value of the actual collection as well?
Yep, it's increasing the ones that are left, and then we recently started doing show sponsorships. So a portion of show sponsorships go to sweeping the floor and burning. And the first one we took on, it was only $1,000. So like, what are we gonna do with $1,000? So we burned like $300 worth of monkeys. Then we, in true monkey fashion, we took it out of a 10x leverage trade on ApeCoin, like below $5, and we're still in it right now, and then a portion of those profits are going to go back to sweeping, and then we'll just continue the trading budget to go and
I
trading and
love it.
sweeping and burning and shit. So,
And if you have a
we'll,
Saudi monkey, are you do you get access to royalties, or how does that work?
oh, sorry, what'd you say?
If you have a Saudi monkey, what that treasury that you're kind of flipping and investing, is that getting paid back out to holders, or how does that work?
Well, what we do, we use it to sweep the floor and burn.
Okay,
So
okay, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
yeah, and so the final when we're as we mint out our collection, it's going to be a 10,000 piece collection that'll have multiple DAOs, and the final DAO will be the Saudi coffee DAO. And once we burn down to 500, all of them will be airdropped a new NFT, and all the whitelist and NFTs we accumulate through coffee and crypto, they won't have to burn their monkeys for anymore. As long as they're staked, they'll be airdropped to a random person every week. So that last
Mm,
500 will be very
Mm.
valuable.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I really like this. Um, cool. So that's the Saudis, but you have another collection coming out, correct?
Yeah, so that was just something, like we figured, and honestly, that's one of my most proudest accomplishments of the year, to be real, was derugging that, right? Because like if you've ever been rugged, it sucks. And
Sucks.
like you never know whose year is gonna make, or whose month it's gonna make, if you can derug a project. And
Sure.
like, to us in the United States, point three Solana doesn't sound like a lot, but like there's been people that came into space, I'm like, man, I had a bag of 20 of those, and I live in such and such country, and I was really betting on this to happen so I could do that with it. So, I love you guys for doing this and fighting for us and stuff. And so like the impact that it's truly having, like that means more to me than, our mint that we had that was successful, like that this
Yeah.
was something that we
Yeah, you're
truly
helping
saved
people.
somebody's day.
Yeah, helping
Yeah.
people for sure.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So we have the Saudis, and that was just something we did for fun. But like as this whole process of Web3 has happened for us as we've been going full time, we had our Soul ads and our game board community that we kind of accumulated. A lot of them we onboarded on the crypto, and then we have accumulated like a second community that's kind of like a intermeshed with it, which is like our coffee and crypto community. People that have just met us on Twitter because we do it every morning,
Hmm.
and like other projects communities that kind of intermingled with us. And then now we have like our Saudi monkey community, which is like a third community, right? And so we're like, man, we got to bring this all together, take care of the OGs, let the new people get something that really makes them feel a part of us. And then like, well, obviously I told you guys the plan for the monkeys. So that's what our coffee and crypto collection is going to be. It's going to be multiple DAOs, and if you have the NFTs within that DAO, you'll have access to the DAO, and you'll be able to stake within that DAO and earn Java token, the token that's native to the coffee and crypto community, based on the value of a vault that DAO has, or revenue streams associated with that vault. So there's going to be the Java radio DAO. We're going to have a 24-hour NFT radio station to where we're going to stream
Ooh.
through Twitter and other platforms like you guys are doing. We're going to highlight NFT artists. We're going to put together live events. So there'll be a DAO for that. We're going to actually even have a crypto Congress DAO, where a portion of all our royalties are going to go to support pro Web3 candidates. And they will, the crypto Congress DAO will be able to vote on the candidates that we choose to support, and we'll also airdrop tickets to them for live and virtual events. We'll have these candidates that are pro Web3. We already look at January Walker. She already hangs out with us, and she's one that we already support. But we want to make sure as people in Web3 that we, even though we do want to have our own world. We live in the real world, and if we can get accurate representation in government, we have a duty to do that. And so that's going to be our crypto Congress DAO. We are going to have our blue chip DAO like before. We're going to have a DAO for one-on-one artists. We're going to have our DAO that focuses on metaverse fashion. And we're going to have our gaming DAO, which is going to build out the Monopoly game I talked to you about. And
Mm-hmm.
that's honestly the final piece of the puzzle with the Saudi monkeys, because Java is going to be the main token in that game. So there's going to be a major burn mechanism and a supply squeeze on Java. So our early adopters and holders of Java should be able to do very well off it. But the DAO we're going to start with, we actually mint this Saturday, is the DGen DAO. It's going to be a 500 piece collection. We're only minting for one Solana. Is brought to you by DGens, me and my homie Clutch. For DGens, all you guys out there listening. And it's only going to be a one Solana mint, so it's super cheap. There's going to be 0% royalties on it, so we're not making any money on secondary sales. This is all about putting the community in a position to win. The DGen DAO is going to be our most exclusive DAO, so they're going to have access to all our other DAOs and be able to stake in any of those DAOs, because each DAO is going to have a vault of NFT and revenue streams. So there might be higher paying DAOs sometimes. Also, the DGen DAO is going to have a vault of gambling NFTs, because we're the gens, but there's a lot of gambling NFTs that pay rev share. So we're going to focus on these gambling NFTs, rev share, grow the vault, all that good stuff. And to top it off on everything, the DGen collection gets whitelist to every other collection that we release within this Coffee and Crypto 10,000 piece collection. So that's the one we're kicking off. And it flows all the way into the Monopoly game, to where we're going to bring this Java token into existence that's backed by vaults and revenue. And then it's going to be used in this Monopoly game we're building out. It's going to be pretty fucking cool, I
Dude,
think.
well, I'm just saying, and I don't even know if you're doing this with partners, and we can talk offline, but we do have some community members that are interested in Solana. So if you have any whitelist for the MLC community, I'm sure some people would buy. But I love
Yeah,
that.
let's talk offline. I'll get you guys on a. I got you guys on pre-sale. Let me see what I got for you, and as long as they can grab some Solana and get
Hell
it to our
yeah.
pre-sale wallet, I'll make sure they get on the airdrop that I got for my pre-sale going on. It'll be Friday night, Saturday morning. So
You're the
if
damn
you want to
man,
start,
dude. I'll tell you this though, we have got a really good community, and they actually been asking us about Solana, and I was like, I don't. So we had a guy on our show that ended up, he ended up going, just a different way, and he was a Solana maxi.
yeah,
But you having a show, because you just don't do Solana too, you do all things crypto and NFTs, right? But
yeah.
you still like
Most of what I
Solana,
do is so like most of what I do is on Solana right now,
right?
but just the Solana NFT market's outperforming everything. But
Yeah,
I own a few Ethereum NFTs, and I do yield farming and stuff like that. But I'm not yield farming right now, because I think it's too volatile right at the
right,
moment.
right.
And I do margin
Mm-hmm.
trading, leverage trading, but right now I'm playing in NFTs a lot because they're outperforming the market. There's no debate.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you'll be happy to know, as you're talking, I'm buying a zombie Saudi because you got me saying
Oh,
it.
so the zombies, and then if you so there's also the monkeys have DAOs too within the Saudi monkeys, and there's some really active DAOs, so like the Laser Eye DAO and the Crown DAO is super active, to where like they've actually went and partnered with other projects and like formed like a DAO of laser eyes amongst other projects and shit. Is pretty cool.
Whoa. So which ones? All right. So before I press this purchase button, you're saying the laser eyes and the crowns. So
Yeah,
explain that to me. Like, so these attributes, the people have band together to kind of reach out to other Solana projects, or what do you mean by that?
yeah, and they do it on their own. To be honest, like with the monkeys, like my tie to that is driving value through coffee and crypto, but the
Yeah.
community organizes like all the DAOs within themselves, and like they do some cool shit. And like I threw out like a like a little bonus or like a giveaway. I'm giving away like a free mint to whatever DAO was the most active, and like I know it was down to like the crown and the laser eyes and stuff.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
And so, but like yeah, they do it all on their own, and like they're trying to partner with other projects and get artists to kind of make like collabs for them. So like yeah, they do some really cool shit. It's really community driven. I don't have the time to get involved in that level. Like I said, coffee and
Right.
crypto is my baby,
Right.
but like I drive value to this through coffee and crypto. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you can snipe one too, maybe for like a low ball offer, I always say throw the low ball because people will take it sometimes.
Yeah, no. I'm just gonna buy it. I gotta show support, man. I'm gonna pick up a
Yeah,
couple of
my
those,
dude, my
and
dude.
we'll throw some. We'll throw one to the community as well. But dude, that's awesome. So all of this is happening relatively soon, which is amazing. This is actually working out pretty well because my 8 o'clock deadline is a family deadline with mainly the wife, so I cannot be late
Yeah.
because I could talk for another multiple hours with you, Maddie. After that awesome Star Wars Episode 3, do you have any questions or thoughts?
So, I guess my initial thought is you're doing a lot.
Yes.
You have a lot of irons in the fire right now, right? You said that coffee and crypto is your baby, though. That's your main focus, right? Why is that your main focus? Is that because that's what you believe is the best use of your skill set and where you want to go long term?
Ooh, great
Or
question.
what is it about coffee and crypto that has you really focused in? That's your primary goal. Because again, all of these sound awesome, right? A lot of people would be happy to be involved in any of these. You have access to these. You're helping with them, but yet coffee and crypto is your thing. Why is that? What is it you see in it?
So like by coffee and crypto, I mean the project coffee and crypto, right? Like Saudi Monkeys is a D-Rug and something we did for fun to provide value, and they're going to become a full-fledged member. They are full-fledged members of coffee and crypto family, but the coffee and crypto collection is going to merge that. But and man, like we might have to have an even whole secondary conversation about this, but what I truly believe is what I am structuring with this economy we're building in coffee and crypto on a micro level is gonna prove universal basic income, and I think that this will be a blueprint that we'll be able to one day show nations to use at a macro level. And I think everything from the vaults back in the tokens to the game, that the way the whole ecosystem's going to flow with some other stuff I haven't talked about yet with other games we're planning on rolling out, and our live events we're planning, and the use case for the token within the ecosystem. Uh, I truly believe that is my path to showing this on a global scale. But it all starts with yeah, we show up every single day, and we have all these DAOs because since we do this every day, we get involved and learn about every niche. So we made DAOs for all the niches that our community loves in Web3 right now, right? Like Web3 music's awesome. Look me up on Boombox Market. I got my first song out there, first day balling. I only sold one so far, but like for 0.6 sold. But I'd have to get like probably 5,000 streams to get that many, that much money on it on Spotify. So it's cool. So like we're gonna tap into all these areas, and like metaverse fashion is gonna be big, right? Like look at your phone. How much time do you spend on social media? Like once you're integrated in the metaverse, it's gonna be the same thing.
Yep.
And fashion and apparel is gonna be a part of it. So we're gonna have a DAO that's a part of that because our community's in the fashion, and our gaming DAO, right? We're gonna build it out for our game, but other games and blue chip assets, we're gonna
Hmm.
have a piece of that. 101s, 101 artwork is gonna be, there's gonna be high dollar 101s, and we're gonna provide fractionalized ownership of that. And crypto Congress, right? Like my real goal with crypto Congress is to bring together a lot of the leaders in the crypto space and us come up with bylaws and standards that we want to hold people accountable to. And projects might get to a point to where yeah, come before crypto Congress and get crypto Congress certified, and then we'll also support these people that are truly going to represent us and represent and understand blockchain, so we don't have some dinosaurs just passing shit that they're trying to apply laws now that are laws that were written 100 years ago to stuff now that wasn't even conceived, right? And like we're
Right.
Sure.
conceiving new stuff now that we couldn't wrap our minds around to go 10 years ago because you don't know what you don't know, right? Like
Yep.
Satoshi didn't know what Bitcoin. He knew he had something awesome. I assume he did, but he didn't know other people were going to want to build on top of his blockchain. And so
Yeah.
here comes like VB with Ethereum, and he's like, yeah, I'll make something that people can build on top of. But he didn't know it was going to get so big, and how you factor in gas fees, and there'd be yield farming and games built on it and shit like that. And so then you have these other blockchains coming out, and they're like, well, Ethereum does everything. We're going to focus really good on NFTs, or we're going to focus a lot on yield farming, or we're going to focus on this, or we're going to make sure we're dialed in with regulation, whatever it is.
Right.
And they all have their niches and they built upon it. And now we're at this point to where we understand how to use the technology and build some cool stuff as far as games, and you can use it for insurance and real estate and almost anything. Like you could throw a business at me, and I could probably find a way to Web3 it. If it makes sense. And so now we're seeing the technology truly used, but you just don't know, right? Until you get to the previous technology to build on top of.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. And as far as, and we'll kind of wrap it up and go to the last question. We're gonna have to have you back multiple times because this conversation is amazing, and I can't wait to continue our friendship, because that's what I like to
All
call it.
right,
We just
all
butted a
right,
friendship online for a couple hours.
we did.
So much to talk about. Maddie, any last thoughts before, or any questions before
No,
I go into the
no,
kind of the
I
final?
know what time it is, man. Let's
Yeah.
let's bring it into the last question.
So I will say this though, the one thing I do like to ask or talk about before I go into the last questions is we always give everybody a chance to say like, hey, listen, if people were here from the beginning and listen to your story, and when people listen to this on YouTube because it'll be archived, I don't think you need to do much selling. You have an incredible story. You can tell that you're passionate, no frills, no nonsense, dude, and you care about your people and what you're doing. It's amazing. But I do want to give you 1 to 2 minutes to speak to the community. And the way I put it is, give them the coffee, crypto, and true pitch of why they should spend their hard-earned money with you, and do it in 2 minutes or less.
I love it, man. So look, we are Coffee and Crypto. We host a morning show every single day at 9:06 a.m. Central. Our community has everything from experts to beginners. We create an environment where everyone openly learns about all niches of Web3. So make sure you follow me at Close Some Sales, or follow the Coffee and Crypto page at C, the letter C, A, N, D, the letter and C every day, because we do it every day, right? C and C every day. But make sure you follow us so you don't miss it. Anyways, we created a collection to tap into all the Web3 niches our community knows and loves. Different pieces of our collection grant access to different DAOs. For example, our Java Radio DAO will be attached to an NFT radio station we have coming out, and then we'll have a vault of music NFTs as well. We have a DAO where collectors will share fractionalized ownership of blue chip NFTs, and even a gaming DAO that we're building out a crypto version of Monopoly. Collectors are going to be able to stake and earn Java based on the value of their DAO's vault and slash store revenue streams geared towards their DAO. Java is the native token of Coffee and Crypto, which is used for everything from sponsorship payments to our in-game currency, all of which are going to have burn mechanisms attached. We're minting out the DAOs separately, and we're spacing them out by a few weeks. The first DAO we're minting out is the DGen DAO. I'm excited about it. It is brought to you by DGens for DGens. So there's going to be a
Yes.
0% royalty. We're not looking to make money for this. This is to set the community up to win. The vault is going to be packed with gambling NFTs that provide rev share, so we're gonna grow that. And then the gens are going to be able to stake and earn Java based on the value of the vault. And the cool thing about the gens, since it's our first piece of the collection, we're taking care of the OGs, the ones that hang out with us. They are going to be able to stake in all of the DAO's vaults, and they're going to receive whitelist for all the upcoming mints. There's only 500 degens, and the mint is only 1 Solana. So after all this, if you're still on the fence, just go ahead and sit this one out, Anon. You are not a degen. But if you're interested, go to Coffee and Crypto and follow me. Because on Saturday we're minting this shit out, and we're gonna the gym, and we're gonna run it out.
I
So
love it.
that's my pitch.
I love it, man. So good. And
Mm.
so with all of that being said, I mean, like I said, we're close to 2 hours of combo here. Seems like it's only been a half hour.
Yeah.
Two
Mikey, I
final-
got one question. I got a
Okay,
question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That pitch just gave me this question. For the people out there who are thinking about having a project one day, there's an element of sales that has to be there. And you did one of the hardest type of sales there is, which is door-to-door sales. And I heard a little bit come out during that 2-3 minute pitch of some things I know work kind of good in door-to-door sales. But here's my question to you. If you were to give somebody who is new to door-to-door sales one trick
Ooh, I like
to
this.
help when they're opening that door to at least give you the best possible chance to get a sale, what would it be? What's like one of your top tricks for getting in that door and getting a conversation
Great
going?
question.
Man, the top trick is really just smile, man. You smile at every door, people get smile back. But if you want a trick to actually get in the house, you just start wiping your feet on the doormat, and people just naturally invite you inside once
Look
you're in
at
the house.
that. I love it.
Look
I
at
love it.
that. I love it.
I love asking that question at door-to-door sales because it is such a hustle people do not understand, and it is the level of psychology you have to get into because it's hard, man. People just want to shut that door. They'll just start
Yeah.
closing it as they're talking, and it's hard to do. Anyway, I tremendous respect. That's cool.
Dude, fantastic
Wipe
question,
your
Matty.
feet and point at the ground. You don't even got to be talking about anything relevant to the ground, and they'll invite you in.
I love it. I love it. All right,
Love
so final two questions. First question is, do you have any questions for us? Because we just peppered you with questions for 2 hours. If you don't have any, totally fine.
So what's next for you guys, right? And I know spaces, but what are you guys gonna do with it? Are you gonna continue to grow the platform there? Or how do you grow are you gonna grow how are you gonna grow the community more? What do you guys plan to do next?
Dude, I love it. Maddie, you want to take that?
Yeah, man, our goal, and just the quick answer is that is our goal is to build influence, right? At the end of the day, Mike and I are really passionate about people, and we want to be able to help as many people as we can. To do that, we need the largest audience we can, and so we've done a lot of the groundwork here at no charge for free. We've just been trying to build it, build a brand, build a reputation, and now what we're trying to do is build a business component around it with monetization because it takes money to make money, and there's things cost things, right? It is what it is. And so what we're trying to do is really learn the element of how to grow in the different. There's so many different medias out there, and we want to make sure we hit the ones that allow us to cultivate the best audience we can and the most effective audience we can. So we're in a growth phase for that. We're moving into a monetization phase, which we're excited about. But honestly, at the end of the day, we're just excited to be able to find and establish ourselves as the show that we talk to people. You know what I mean? We're going to bring founders on, and we want to find out what makes you tick. And our goal is not to shill or promote any specific project, but to promote people and to promote that, hey, everybody comes from different backgrounds and we can thrive when we learn about that. And then people can make their own decisions in terms of if this is a project they want to support or not. So that's kind of where we're moving. But long term, man, yeah, influence. There's a lot of different areas we want to dabble into, but that's a little bit more down the road. But yeah, we have a pretty good vision for where we want to go.
Yeah.
Mike?
I like it.
The last thing I'd add to that is our end goal is not crypto or web. And this is a great way to start monetizing and build a presence. We want to write books. We want to be on stages, mentor, leadership, coaching, just being genuine and being kind and paying it forward. That's what really ultimately drives us. We think we're doing things differently than anyone else in the space. And that has enabled us to build a really avid, close-knit following that is going to ride or die with us, and that's what we really care about.
Ride or
I
die.
love it.
That's it.
I love it.
Thanks for the question, though. That was a great question. And then final, last question for you is, how do you think this show went other than the audio debacle in the beginning because you were trying something new? I know you do an AMA or show every day. You've probably been on a bajillion AMAs. How do you think this experience was compared to what you've seen out there on the Web3 space or what you've been a part of?
Man, I really liked it because it was unique. Because generally, I most people in Web3 don't hear my story, and I kind of think it kind of is important for new people getting into
Yeah.
Web3 and even maybe trying to transition into working Web3 that like, damn it, if this guy could do it, anybody could do it, and like an average person can do this shit. So I I enjoyed that right there where we had the time to really hang out and just chat and really break it down and tell you the story behind the story that really affects the story of Web3
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so like I think that was cool and it's fresh. I hear a lot of spaces on and mostly most of my content I absorb for Web3 is in forums or on spaces or private Discord DAOs, but a lot of these conversations that are prevalent right now are they're like Jerry Springer episodes where people are arguing back and forth, this and that. But like I say, it's because we're in the bear market, and people just need some sort of entertainment because they're not making money like in a bull market. Because like in a bull market, if you're talking about making money or money, there's a ton of money plays. Yeah, everybody talks about that. But now it's just drama because any idiot can talk about drama. So
Yeah.
like I think you guys are bringing a fresh perspective to the Web3 space and will provide a great platform for a lot of us to learn about a lot of leaders in the space to where like like I can understand like like on our space the other day like I was telling everybody like yeah I may do this full time working Web3 and make money off trading and everything, but as a trader, this is my biggest weakness. I'm not perfect, right? And
Yeah.
so I think a lot of times you hear these founders and these successful traders, and you're like, shit, those dudes just kill it. But then like you don't realize, well, I didn't kill it with this, I didn't kill it with that.
Right.
That was a massive failure. But
Right.
then I killed it with this, and it made up with everything, kind of like
Yep.
anything
You
else.
got
So
it.
like, I think that is going to be cool to watch other people come on this and watch you guys kind of dig into what their background is and how their 3 episodes played out and are playing out.
Dude, thank
That's
you,
cool.
man. That was such great feedback. Made me warm inside. And I think you said it
Yeah,
best, right? Is like we're really here to help dehumanize, not dehumanize, humanize the people behind these projects because I think there's a good portion of people that think you need to be a Bill Gates or Elon Musk to start an NFT. And it's not like we're just all ordinary
Yeah.
people really interested in a new technology that we know is going to impact the world, right?
yeah.
And we think it's super important. So the fact that you felt that going through this process means a ton to us. Thank you, man. And for Maddie, I'll let you say your closing thoughts, and then I'll say my closing thoughts, and we will call it a night. But trust me, this is not the first or last time we're going to be having a conversation.
Yeah, man. This is just thanks for sharing your story. That's the biggest thing. You already said why it's important. People need to hear about normal people getting into a space. You didn't know anything about it. You learned, and here you are. Now you have a daily show talking about it, degenning, and you're in it. And it's just the more people hear that, the more people will feel safe dipping their toe in the waters of Web3. And that's what we all need, right? We need more people in this space. And so I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate your just open, honest take on here's what I did, here's what it is, here's what I learned. It wasn't perfect, but this is how I arrived to where I am. And I just think it's fresh, man. I think it's a really important thing. I think you have some incredible skill sets when it comes to your ability to interact and communicate effectively with people. Your work ethic is extreme, and I think that that's always one of the top success principles that there is. I think you can outwork talent any day. And man, you have a passion about getting things done and helping people, giving it back. I mean, all the stuff you were talking about, the candidates and what you're doing in different areas and different niches. You're thinking about the product, you're thinking about what the space needs, and you're listening to your audience, and that says a lot about who you are. So thanks for taking the time with us today.
Thank you guys, man. It was a lot of fun, and you guys are always welcome on Coffee and Crypto. If you guys ever want to come jump up and provide some value, I'd love to hear from you guys on our platform too.
Hell yeah. And I'll
Yeah,
add to what Maddie said, man. It was a pleasure, man. And you know, this space started off with not doxing, and it, surprise, surprise, people are now spending good amounts of money and they want to know who they're spending the money with. And most of these undoxed people have ended poorly, right? But there's something about, one, being doxxed, but then two, getting super vulnerable and just sharing your story. And that is utmost respect for you doing that. We just appreciate it. Two, dude, your drive and just your charisma. I can see why you were successful in sales. And like I said, everyone we have on a show, we are not your typical influencers or show, whereas we've never made 1,000 extra bag. We've never made buy this project. There is a space for that. I think that is what you do. Maddie and I are not investors. I can barely flip shit myself, but we think we're good at this part, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we just, started a friendship, and I think we're going to be able to benefit from each other's skill sets in the beginning. And that's what it's really all about, networking, man. And I'm just so glad that you're now part of the family. I already have people in chat saying, please send me the links. They want to subscribe to you. They want to start buying some Saudis. So it's already happening. So it's game time, man. I can't wait to grow this.
Let's connect offline, and we'll figure out getting a couple of the pre-sales for you guys.
And I want to, we'll connect offline too, but I want to bring up, I think we can make some really cool educational videos talking about yield farming and nodes and all of the stuff and things that you look for. And I would love to start putting that content up with you too. So we'll keep on grinding together and growing. So thank you so much for your time, man. And with that being said, people, Mike G's got to go. The family calls. We will be back next Tuesday. I'm pretty sure I can say our website will be up, that will have our schedule. We're booked out for the rest of the month. We can't wait to see you all on Tuesday. We might be here on Sunday. Pay attention to our socials. We'll give you some updates. Midlife crisis is...
See you next Tuesday.